my name is Vina, aka Ms. WOC Reader, and welcome back to my channel. It's been a minute since I've done a bookish pet peeve video, and I actually couldn't find my most recent one, which means it's been a while and I am overdue for one. So let's get into it, and let me know in the comments section if you have any pet peeves that are just grinding your gears when it comes to books right now. So my first one is going to be when I see a video that says underrated fantasy, underrated romance, underrated horror, and then it is not underrated books. Like it'll be filled with books that were all bestsellers, New York Times bestseller, indie book bestsellers. It'll be something that was hyped to hell on TikTok. Like, please, words mean things. We are readers. We need to start using words as they are intended. Underrated means that it's not really being talked about. You're telling me a book is underrated when you can walk into damn near any bookstore and find a copy, then it's not underrated. Just because you took 2 years to read it doesn't mean that it's underrated and that other people have not been reading it within that same time frame. Like, I know it's hard sometimes to sit down and come up with book racks. I struggle every time that I want to sit down and come up with book racks because I'm like, ooh, I don't want to wreck you guys the same books all the time. But also, this one is my favorite. I haven't found a 5-star recently. Am I talking about this one enough? So I get it, but I need people to stop using the word underrated when it's a bestseller, when the people aren't really described in the book. So I've seen it in a couple of recent books I read where like they had one long braid, they had a shaved head. I need to know what their skin color is looking like. Are they more on the chocolate side or are they vanilla? Are they dulce de leche? Like I need to know, like, what is their skin looking like? I need to know, do they have defined cheekbones? Do they have a broad nose? Do they have straight hair? Do they have wavy hair? Do they have curly hair? I need to know their hair color. Like, if this character is going to be a significant player in the story, I want to know a little bit more about them. And I find that books that don't really describe the people, that's because most of the people are defaulted to white. And it's one thing when I see it in books by white people, but it's like disturbing to me when I see it in books by BIPOC authors. They should know better and be working to rectify that. Books set in anywhere USA. What I mean by anywhere USA is you'll be reading these books and it's like a small town, but also they have a beach and skyscrapers and mountains and woods, and like all of a sudden the geography just stops making sense and it feels like a hodgepodge of different things. There's nothing like locally distinct about them. Like the author sometimes won't even tell you what part of the country it's supposed to be in. Like, the US is a place that's full of so many different types of people. Like, we call this country a melting pot. There's so many different types of people depending on what area you're in. There are regional accents. There are foods specific to a different region. There are certain traditions. I want to see more of that reflected in books. Like, I want to know when I'm reading a book set in the South versus when I'm reading a book set in the Midwest versus when I'm reading a book set on the East Coast. I want those distinctions. If you, as a writer, are writing a book set in an area similar to yours, what makes your area unique? Like, for example, I'm in Pennsylvania, and at least in the part of Pennsylvania that I'm in, farmers markets are a big deal. So that is something you will come across a lot. And we have like a lot of the Pennsylvania Dutch and Amish and stuff like that around here. So like you'll see foods that are very distinct to our area. I don't eat all of them, but like there are certain things you can go into a restaurant and easily find on the menu. It's the little touches like that that make a book feel real. The cinnamon roll NFL player. I'm seeing it in every romance lately, and it's so fucking annoying. I'm like, have y'all met any football players? I'm not even just talking about NFL. I'm talking about high school. I'm talking about college. They're not all quiet, good boys who don't do anything but drink tea and throw praise upon the main character. A lot of these guys are like very cocky. There's a certain level of confidence that you need to have to succeed in the sport, especially to get to the NFL level where you are constantly being beaten down, where you have to be the best of the best, where you are so easily replaceable. And a lot of these guys are hoes. Like, let's be for real here. Like, I'm like, if you want to write a book where he's getting out of his hoe phase, okay, go ahead and do that. I'd actually respect you more if you acknowledge that he had a hoe phase versus these sweet, quiet NFL players that I guess just sat in the corner during the Super Bowl party and didn't talk to anybody. Like, women be throwing themselves at these, and like, they have their pick, but I'm supposed to believe they instantly only want the quiet, bookish girl just because they're sweet, charming guys like that. Plus, like, they all have the same personality. I hate when everybody has the same personality. Like, let's switch things up. Bookish heroines are becoming a pet peeve of mine just because every fucking book heroine lately is bookish. And I'm like, there's so many cool activities out there, like, and hobbies. I'm even trying to expand my own hobbies out of just reading and writing. I'm like starting to get into coloring and stuff again. Depending on what city you're in, there's some really cool stuff you can partake in, like horseback riding, axe throwing, like, you can have different hobbies like besides just books. Like, give me something different. Picture books about black hair. Like, specifically right now in traditional publishing, that is the go-to for black picture books is natural hair. We're getting books like My Hair is My Friend, My Hair is My Family, My Hair is the Sun, My Hair is the Moon, My Hair is the Stars, my hair, me, myself, and my hair. And I'm like, I understand what people are trying to do, but we're going overboard now because I feel like a lot of the hate when it comes to black hair starts to like increase as you get older versus on the childhood level, because when we're little kids are like running around, we don't really care what our hair looks like. Like, we would go out and play and our hair would be an absolute mess after a day of school. It's like older people kind of start to put the pressure on you and your hair, and you notice like the differences. And I know we want children to love their hair. I think the best way that they can love their hair is just simply by seeing people around them love and appreciate their hair. It's not like back in the 2000s when everybody had their hair straightened and we were told like if your hair wasn't tame, it was nappy. Like, things have changed so much. Like, we see people embracing their natural curls, their natural kinks. We see so much experimentation with different hairstyles, and I feel like we are good enough if we just have like the children wearing their natural hair in books, but like have the story centered around something else, because our hair, really at the end of the day, it's some dead cells. It's not that big of a deal. We don't need our children to have this extra emphasis put on their hair in a way that other cultures don't. Like, because it just singles them out as something different and something weird and something precious that they have to really be attached to. And I feel like a lot of people are still trying to be secure in their black identity, and they tie so much of their black identity to hair, and we're more than our hair. Like, that is not your defining trait of Black identity. And our kids really don't get a lot of different stories. They don't always see themselves as the hero. They don't always see themselves going on adventures. I'm like, where are the books about black kids going to space? Where are the books about black kids even going to the zoo or the aquarium? Where are the books or black kids having these like fantasy world adventures like in picture book form? Those are the types of books that I find when I read them to the girls too. They respond well to these stories where the kids are just like on a funny adventure versus the love yourself and your skin and your hair. Like, we should just be telling them that every day. We don't need it in every single book. When the romance is so slow burn that they don't even kiss until the 75% mark. So, this is not a Hallmark Channel original movie. I feel like most of the people doing this are not that great at the pen. They're not creating enough tension to make it worth it. It's just like the romance isn't really progressing much. There's not enough witty banter. Like, if the romance is supposed to be a big deal, if you're centering so much of your story around it, I need some movements. Beyond just emotional conversations, because let me just tell you, the emotional conversations in these books lately have been draining me. Like, it's a lot of, we shouldn't be together, it's bad that we're together, oh my gosh, my family will disapprove, what if society disapproves of us, why haven't you made a move yet, am I not the one for you? And I'm like, let's go, let's have some movement here. Like, it just feels like a way to hit page count to draw everything like out so long. And what ends up happening is Vina checks out and no longer cares what's happening in the book, like by the 60% mark, if nothing is happening. So, like, by the time stuff starts happening, I don't care. So those are just a few of my bookish pet peeves. Let me know what yours are. And if you like this video, make sure and hit that like button. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!